Hey, it is June 1st and it is World Narcissistic Abuse Awareness Day. So I want to take a moment and read just a chapter from my book, I Married Him Now What? A Save Girl's Guide to Surviving an Abusive Marriage, because known to some, not known to others, I am actually a survivor of narcissistic abuse syndrome. And so there's a couple of things that go into that. I'm going to read the chapter. We're going to talk for a little bit and talk about some strategies and some things we can do to help if you feel like you are in this situation, or if you know someone who appears to be in this situation. All right, so let's get into it. I am reading chapter 4. What am I dealing with? We spent the beginning of this book talking about the things you've probably seen, dealing with some emotions, and building some aha moments. Now it's time to understand what you could be dealing with. Narcissism is a media buzzword. Every time you turn around, the label is given to someone for some reason. Sometimes it fits. Most times, though, it really doesn't. Society mostly focuses on the inflated ego, the need for constant attention, and some of the power dynamics, real or imaginary, as exhibited by a recent prominent politician. However, megalomaniacs have the same set of traits. It's more than the extreme love of self and vanity. It's an entire clinical diagnosis that is actually hard to diagnose because most people who display the traits don't and won't ever go to therapy. Narcissism is titled after the character Narcissus in Greek mythology. Narcissus was gorgeous, handsome, if you will, but he was obsessed with his own looks. At the same time, a nymph, Echo, in some versions this person is also a young man, was hopelessly in love with Narcissus. He ignored her so much for his own image that eventually she faded away and all that was left of her was her voice. This is a loose variation of this story because, as you know, with Greek mythology, there are many versions, small details, and entanglements. As Echo faded away, Narcissus met his demise when he walked by a pond and caught a glimpse of his own reflection. Attempting to get closer and closer to it, he fell in and drowned. Narcissistic personality disorder, known as NPD, the technical name for what we commonly call narcissism, is a DSM-5 classified personality disorder. The DSM-5 is the abbreviation for the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, written by the American Psychiatric Association, the APA. According to the APA, NPD is defined as a pattern of need for admiration and a lack of empathy for others, in which a person may have a grandiose sense of self-importance, a sense of entitlement, and they may take advantage of others or have an obvious lack of empathy. A diagnosis of NPD can only be obtained from a licensed counselor, therapist, or doctor when the person displays at least 5 of the following 9 characteristics: a grandiose sense of self-importance, 1. 2. A preoccupation with fantasies of unlimited success, power, brilliance, beauty, or ideal love. 3. A belief that he or she is extremely special and unique and should only associate with or be surrounded by others who are equally special or go to places with high levels of esteem, specialness, or uniqueness. 4. A need for excessive admiration. 5. A sense of entitlement. 6. Take advantage of others to achieve their personal needs. 7. A lack of empathy. 8. A belief that others are envious of him or her. And 9, extremely arrogant or haughty behaviors or attitudes. So I'm providing this information for you to be able to put some things into context. Part of your healing will be understand who or what you are dealing with. Additionally, I do not want you to start or increase the number of side eyes thrown towards your husband or whoever it is you're dealing with. Understanding that these things are present will help you when you seek additional help in counseling, which I highly recommend, to have language for things you are experiencing. It is also important for you to know that while your marriage may definitely be toxic, you may not be married to a person with NPD. There are those who do not meet the requirements for the DSM-5 classification, but display narcissistic traits. The second thing I want you to know is that realistically, you may not ever know if he has NPD. That is where knowledge is power. When I began to see my clinician, being the researcher and teacher that I am, I literally walked into the office with printouts of articles, my psychology textbook, and notes of examples because I had questions. Since he was not present, nor was he being seen by a clinician, they could not and would not diagnose him. They could only develop my treatment plan based on the information I presented. This is also the information they will not give you voluntarily, as no one wants to be sued for malpractice or slander in diagnosing someone they've never worked with. Given the information you present and based upon your mental state and what you are experiencing when you come to them, if asked, they should be able to confirm or deny if at the very least you've been in contact with someone who could potentially be diagnosed or not. As we move forward, we'll talk more about what these 9 things may look like on a day-to-day basis. You may not see them all the time, but let's be clear. Being in a relationship where you feel a lack of empathy, feeling that you're being used, always being made to feel less than, or you experience any of the other things above is not okay. Even if your relationship cannot be classified as a byproduct of narcissism, it is toxic, and that is not healthy for anyone involved. And it is especially dangerous to you and your children if you have any. This is not to scare you or question your motherhood. Remember, I am not here to judge you. I have been a version of you. We'll talk more about forgiveness later, but throughout this process, you must be willing to forgive yourself. Give yourself the grace and benefit of the doubt that you've shown countless times to many others. If it helps, let James Fortune's I Forgive Me minister to you. One last thing, and this one is an important matter of safety. Even if your husband has not been physically violent towards you, approaching him with this information may ignite a sense of rage and a plethora of other highly volatile actions. There is a lot to unpack here. My job is to provide you with as much info as I can so that when it comes time when you must confront this large elephant in the room, you are prepared mentally, emotionally, and perhaps physically if necessary. Not for violence, more so for location. Do the best that you can not to engage him in any debate, argument, or combative battle about narcissism and its symptoms. It will be counterproductive. One reason is because they believe there's nothing wrong with them and they're perfect. Reason 2 is because they function at such high levels of manipulation, they will take the information and lead you to believe that you are in fact the narcissist just because you asked them. So I have about a minute left before this cuts off. And the thing that I want to impress to you most is that if you feel like you are living in a situation with a person that could be diagnosably narcissistic, please go reach out to help. It's probably not an accident that World Narcissistic Abuse Day comes just after Mental Health Awareness Month ends, because it is one of the things that is the most damaging to your mental health, and it's a silent attacker. It will sneak up on you. It literally can almost kill you from the inside out because you don't really know that you're being attacked, because you've been groomed and designed to have all of your defenses down and all you're really trying to do is survive. And so if you find yourself in that situation, please take heed. Get help. If you're not ready to go the route of therapy yet, get the book, walk through the exercises, find someone that you trust to go through them with you. My inbox is always open to talk through, pray through all the things. If you are a ministry leader, I highly suggest that you get this book, because one of the fallacies of church is that everybody points out the scriptures about the unsanctified wife and all of those things, but nobody pays attention to the part where he has a part to play in it as well. So we just want everybody to be well informed, safe, well, and whole. Y'all have a great day. Peace.